Hello, welcome to the Budapest Speed Shop. I'm coming at you from Kentucky. This time, here's this beautiful 1976 Mercury Marquis, which I got from a friend of mine from Minnesota. And today we're gonna make this car ready for a road trip. My friends from Hungary wants to take it from Chicago to LA on Route 66. I'm not totally confident that this car gonna make it, but we're gonna do everything we possibly can to fix a few things and hoping for the best that it will actually do the trip. So far, I fixed the brakes, I clogged up a hole on the fuel tank, which actually greatly increased the gas mileage, and changed the floor carpet and did many other repairs in it. So now we're still missing some repairs, which we're gonna work on today. At summertime, I had a little cooling problem, so I got a brand new radiator for it. Also, when it was winter time, I heard some really serious bearing noise coming from the water pump, and it looks kind of old, so I'm gonna change that as well to make sure it will not break down in the middle of Oklahoma or Texas when it goes on the trip. Not too long ago, I fixed the alternator, so the alternator and the voltage regulator works. It's very reliable now. We're gonna change the water pump, the radiator, the condenser and evaporator for the air conditioning, and also the compressor. And after that, we're gonna change the cruise control. I found a brand new in-the-box Ford item, an original, new old stock cruise control unit. And after that, I think we're gonna get on the exhaust manifolds, and we're gonna change the exhaust manifolds and then build a new exhaust for the car. So first, what I like to do is to take the radiator off and take the water pump off, followed by washing out the engine block. I got a nice little tool, a handy little tool, where I can wash the engine block out from the inside to get all the old rust out. First, we're going to remove the radiator. In order to do that, we're going to take the rubber hoses off from the top and from the bottom, and then the all pipes what coming from the transmission, they have been already disconnected. So, and then we're going to take this shroud off, and then we can take this front cover off what holds the whole unit on. These bungee cords what I put on, they worked actually really well to hold this on. You can see that it's kind of wore out throughout the years. So the only thing I could do is make up a little bracket and then drill it out and pop rivet it to this, and then drill a hole for that, and that would hold it there for sure. I'll probably do that when we assemble the whole thing. Nicely came out from the car. I bought a newer one to make sure it's not gonna go bad, and also the newer one apparently is supposedly wider than this. We'll see. And nonetheless, the holder bolts, I'm gonna just put them back in here so we don't lose it, and then we can take this shroud out, and now we can see everything better. And over here we're gonna able to release the loosen up the belts. They're pretty sizable belts, so the AC compressor has to be loosened up, and then the power steering pump has to be loosened up, and then we can get those belts off. And after that, we can take this visco clutch off from its position, and then we can get access to the water pump. Now that we got everything freed up, I can take those 4 little bolts off at the base of this, like right there, and then this whole thing should come right off. 4 little bolts are out with a 7/16 wrench, and let's take off this fan now. Oh crap. Looks like the fan shaft is a little bit moving, so I guess one more part I need to buy. I had to put a little bit of force down in the middle. Have to be very careful not to bend the blades, but now it's coming off. So it appears to me there's a bearing inside what's failing, so I'm gonna need to find another one of these. There it is. It's the water pump. Still not free though. Of course it's not free. I'm gonna take that bracket off at the bottom and all the other brackets everywhere. Fantastic. Every one of these I've seen has a frozen air pump in it. I don't think it's necessary too much. Someone might disagree, but that's doesn't matter to me. So anyhow, I'm gonna remove this and just leave it off anyway. I was able to remove this really big bracket here, and then I removed the air pump, and then now I can see finally the water pump. So next thing we gotta do is to take the whole thing off. I'm also gonna remove the thermostat housing. I'm kind of probably planning on changing the thermostat anyway, and then I'm gonna have better access to blow the whole system out with my special little tool that came from England for this purpose. And we're getting back into the game with the larger tool, and I've moved out, unscrewed a whole bunch of these bolts, some longer, some shorter, and then what I also need to do, I took this water hose off, and I also need to release this water hose as well. I got most of the bolts out except this one. This one needs a little help because it just does not want to come out. It's kind of stuck in it because the grease and all the debris, and one of the bolt broke, so we'll find out what we're gonna do with that later. But the pump is almost off. The water pump just came off. Here's the broken bolt, just at a strategically at the right spot where it really need to be there. And here's the water pump. It actually doesn't look all that bad, but I think the bearing failed on it because at winter time I heard it making a really bad noise. So I don't know, or yeah, well, looks like it was not all that bad. So maybe it was put on recently, so I'm not really sure why that noise was coming. Maybe it was coming from the clutch, the fan clutch, but it is what it is. So in order to take this bolt out, I don't know, I'm gonna try to move it. Something sticks out a little bit, and if that's not gonna be the case, then we may have to take the front cover off. In order to take the front cover off, we're gonna have to take this pulley assembly off, and then take the lower pan off, and then we most likely can take this whole thing off. So it's an elaborate thing just for one bolt, but I was expecting to do that for the whole freaking car. So just to change the water pump, you might have to pull the engine, and I also need to change the exhaust manifolds on it. So I think before I start taking that cover off, I'm gonna need to see how many bolts will break into that one, because if any bolts break into the cylinder head, then that means I'm gonna have to take the engine out anyway. Now let's see what's inside here. Oh, look at that thermostat. That's a little bit off. Look, it's supposed to be like sitting right on it, but it's kind of on the side. I'm surprised it was not leaking. Nice job, whoever put that in. It wasn't too long ago probably, but yeah, ouch. I'm kind of thinking I got to do a lot of work underneath the car anyway, because I want to change the exhaust manifolds. I got some headers I want to put on. In order to do that, I got to take those bolts out, which most likely going to break into the cylinder head, which I need to repair, and I can't repair it while it's in there, so I either take the heads off or the engine out. And if I take the engine out, I want to take the lower pan off to clean out the oil from it. You know, it was basically a sludge was collecting in it since 1976. It would be nice to clean it out. And yeah, in order to take it out, I'm going to have to remove the alternator first, then disconnect the fuel pump, disconnect some wires, take out the AC compressor, because that doesn't need to be there. We're gonna have to change that anyway. And then maybe I got to remove some stuff on the back, maybe not. And then some cables, and then go underneath. I gotta go underneath and release the engine mounts, cut the exhaust off because the exhaust bolts are all rotten. Take the shifter lever off, the drive shaft off, and then I can hook it up and try to pull it out. Oh yeah, and also take the hood off. Fantastic. So I think the best way to get that engine out is to get the hood off first. The hood is held on by 4 bolts, and then just gotta take out. I actually made a little mark, so I actually know where these bolts gonna go back into. So I'm gonna bring my son out and ask him to help me to get this hood off of the car. Now that the hood is off, I can start the engine. I know it's not going to have cooling, but I'm not going too far with it anyway. So just that crankshaft going to turn and not going to have any charging, but it's going to run. And then I can back it up onto the lift. I got to take that Wartburg off the lift, and then I can put this one back on. Well, the car came out. I didn't think of the transmission. The transmission cooler line was still pushing the cooler out. Pushing the fluid out. So yeah, I left a little line behind. I need to address that when I putting the car back on. It was leaking at the transmission cooler lines, so I need to make them loop them together, and then I'm gonna be able to put it on the rack. Let's make a little plan what we're gonna do here. So I think first I'm gonna remove the exhaust system. So here are the 2 big original catalytic converters. I'm just gonna cut those bolts off. They're so rotten. I'm not even gonna try to do anything with them, or maybe I could. I don't know. I tried to take them off, but I don't think it's gonna happen. And then they all go together. I'm gonna have to cut it somewhere, and then yeah, there's the end of it. So I think I can just take this off, these old clamps, and then basically the whole thing should come off. That's probably gonna be the first thing to do. Then we're gonna start taking the drive shaft off. That drive shaft off will happen with these little bolts in the back, and then if I could show it to you, yeah, right there are the 4 little bolts with the U-joints. Then we can pull it off and put it down. Then we're gonna take the speedometer cable out, and after that we're gonna take these probably these metal pipes out. I don't know, maybe I need to make new metal pipes here, we'll see. And then you're in good shape. Then probably can take the bolts out for the engine mounts. And after that we can come to the front and release a couple more things up there. The idea is I'm gonna have these short stacks on the front. I'm gonna have a dual exhaust. I'm gonna throw away these original catalytic converters, and then on the back I'm gonna have one of these cherry bombs. It's got a little restriction in it, so it's not a totally through pipe, and it's gonna go over the rear axle, and as it comes down I'm gonna put another cherry bomb on it before it exits. So I think it's gonna look pretty darn cool. I'm pleasantly surprised because the between the exhaust manifold and the exhaust itself, these bolts actually came out, and they don't look all that promising. So I'm very surprised that they actually made it out without breaking. Looks like this one has seen better days, but they all came out. I can't believe it. So now I had to support it a little bit with a little hydraulic jack, and then now we're gonna pull this out, and then we're gonna release the whole thing and take it off. I had to cut this off because it was not coming off. I think last time I put this on, it went out really well, so it just didn't budge. Now this is how it looked like. It came off very nicely in a couple of pieces. But now it's mine. There we go. Next is the drive shaft. I was really curious how does this catalytic converter looks like, which went in 1976. So it looks like it's a little bit melted, but you can't really see much. You gotta be able to see through. These are supposed to be a 1mm by 1mm holes. So I put the light behind it, and it's absolutely barely not shining through. So yeah, this thing is melted and clogged up. So I think that might be a reason why this car was struggling in power wise. Well, it's not all that fast as it is, but I think this one was really was holding it back. This is the end of the drive shaft. Here's this little U-shaped thing that holds it on, but right now it's still actually stuck in it with here, so we're gonna have to pry it from here just a little bit. But I gotta get ready because I want to make sure that these cups will not come off. So in order to facilitate that, make sure that they don't come off, I'm gonna use a piece of masking tape to wrap it around it, and this way it will keep these caps on. And then I'm gonna have to put some sort of bucket here to make sure when the oil start coming out from the end of the transmission, it will catch it. I don't know how much it will come out, but there might be some will come out. The drive shaft came off, and I put it on a piece of paper, make sure there's nothing gonna hurt this nice that's a nice little surface here. That's a little bit weird. It's got some little debris on it. Well, and then I already put this painter's tape on it to make sure I won't lose these little caps. So next, what I can do is I can take the speedometer cable off, and I can start taking the bolts out from these holders, from these brackets what holding the transmission and the engine on. Since I got this pen, I'm just gonna let the oil down, so when we take the engine out, it's not gonna go anywhere. Here's the speedometer cable. It's also a sensitive part, so I'm just gonna put it in a cover with a piece of paper towel and some masking tape. Now I'm gonna remove the main bolt from here, what's holding the transmission in position, and also I can remove these two big bolts because the whole thing just sitting on it, so it doesn't really I'm not gonna have any problem if I remove the bolts. But then when it's time to get the transmission out, I can just lift the whole thing up a little, and then I can take these things out very easily. Remove the two bolts what holding the transmission mount to the transmission, and also remove these two large bolts what I talked about earlier. And now I remove the starter bolt, which is right here. There's no power in it unless you're trying to start the engine. So I got this off as well, almost off. And then we are in a better shape right now to go upstairs and see what else we can remove from the top of the vehicle. I've disconnected the fuel, and yeah, it was coming out like no tomorrow. So I had to put a plug on it. It's still dripping, but it's dripping from the fuel pump. I don't care about that. And there's a return line what I need to also disconnect from here. And then I'm gonna take the oil filter off of it too. This is my favorite oil filter wrench. or plier, so just gotta put it on and take it off. Now that we remove the oil filter, now we can remove the main engine mount nut and bolt as well on both sides. There's also the bracket for the oil cooler lines, the transmission oil cooler lines. I'm gonna remove that as well. Next, we're gonna remove the shifter mechanism, which is over here. I'm gonna take these two bolts out, which are securing it to it, and hopefully we can get it right off. I think this is it for the bottom. Got the main bolts out from the engine mounts, the starter wire, the shifting mechanism, exhaust, the other wire from the other engine mount, and then of course the back side is all done as well. So I guess we can go upstairs now. Let's let the car down and see what can we do on the top. I think I'm gonna start with the angel. I'm gonna get this angel off, and then I'm gonna take the battery out, the alternator out. I'm gonna do something with that power steering pump. It's gotta be somehow held on the side, and take the air conditioning compressor off. I got the angel off the nose and the alternator up on the side, and it's disconnected. There was one cable that went on the automatic choke adjuster, choke thermostat. Then I had an evaporation cable that came to the carburetor. I got that off. And on this side we're pretty much set. On the back, not yet, but I got the really heavy compressor off, and there's only one bolt on the back what's holding on this fitting. And this whole thing came out. We're gonna put it on the side, and I'm gonna cover up this fitting to make sure there's no dirt goes in it, and then I'm gonna somehow get to make this one go over to this side, so that power steering pump has to somehow hang out on the side here because it's in the wrong position. Then we can go to the back side of the engine, hoses, cables, cruise control, etc. It's quite easy and organized. So this is a temperature sending unit. This is going on the coil. This is going on the ignition unit, and then the idle up switch. The AC is running, so that's it. So I can get this whole thing off of it, and then we only have left is the vacuum hoses, cruise control, and heater hoses. I think I'm ready. Everything is disconnected. All the heater hoses on the back, the vacuum hose, the ground cable, all the electrical wires, the throttle cable is off, the cruise control is off, fuel system is off for the bottom, and I have a chain on it, so I think I just gotta bring my cherry picker and pull it right out. So I keep my jack in another side of the barn here. Here's a rickshaw. It's an original East Indian rickshaw. I'm gonna put a jet engine on it on the back. It's gonna come out from here. Yeah, just need to work it out how to stop it, because the brake doesn't really work on it too well, but that's another project. Here's my 107. This is a 280 SL with a 6-cylinder engine, and it sits on an East German record truck, a Barkas record truck. So anyhow, here's my jack. That's what I got to take over to the other side of the barn and start pulling the engine out from that old monster. Here's the time to get the engine out. So in order to not to break the carburetor, I had to pull it off. I covered up the hose on it, and now my son is here. We can start actually get it out. So the idea is, first we're gonna lift it up a little to make sure we don't bend the engine mounts, which totally unavailable now. Actually, you can buy the passenger side, but not the driver's side for some reason. On eBay, there was a pair for $1,000 for engine mounts, but no, thank you. So the idea is we're going to lift it up just a little bit. Then we're going to take the cross member off from the transmission by lifting up the back of the transmission with the jack, and then we're going to lower the jack, and then we can start pulling the whole thing out. Okay, Willie, start lifting it up. Just slowly, yep. Keep going until it starts getting up in the air. Okay, that's it. That's it. Now you lower the transmission. Just be. Okay, pull it out. That's it. And then now you got to pull it. Yeah, lift it up a little bit more. That's it. Cool. Now it's ours. Let's check, make sure there's nothing hanging up.
Looks like it's getting caught on the thing in the back.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. All right, let's pull it out a little bit. Pull it towards you. Okay, keep going. That's good enough.
I hear it scraping along the back.
Yep. All right. Let's pull on it a little bit more. Okay, that's the starter. That's okay. You gotta keep going. It's gonna let it go. Ott a önindítón megakadt. There you go. All right. Keep going. Okay, hold it. We need to pull it forward. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. A little more. That's it. No, that's too far. Okay.
Pushing it?
Yeah, keep going.
That sounded really bad.
Yep. See what we broke.
That.
Yep. That was not good. Okay, let's pull it back. Just push the car back a little bit, and that enabled us to get it into a better position, but I think it's almost up, so we can push it a little bit more or pull the whole thing. Should be out in a second. Okay, hold on. Don't. Okay, let me down. Wait. Okay. All right. Is it gonna clear? Yeah, it's clear. Okay, that's it. Yay! There it is. I just need to clean up a little bit of transmission fluid, and I need to change one of these, that distributor housing. Not that big of a deal.